Today's lesson is subtracting two-digit numbers. Some of our examples will be with regrouping and others will be without regrouping. Let's start with a fairly simple example. As you can see, we have our tens columns and our ones cubes. This happens to be 38. We have 3 tens and 8 ones. Let's subtract 17 from that number. If you'll recall, 38 is the minuend and 17 is the subtrahend. We first want to subtract our ones column. So from our 8 ones, we see that we can easily subtract 7 of the ones, which will leave us with 1, a single 1. Next, we look at our tens columns. We have 3 tens columns, and we're subtracting 1 of the tens. Now 2 tens remain, so 3 tens subtracting 1 10 would be 2 tens. 38 minus 17 would equal 21. The difference of 38 minus 17 is 21. This time, let's make the problem a little bit more difficult. As you can see, we have 3 tens and 2 ones. We'll still subtract 17. When we look at the ones column, we see that 2 ones cannot subtract 7 ones. So we need to regroup the numbers. We'll exchange one of the tens for 10 ones. Now we're ready to subtract. So we've exchanged one of the tens for 10 ones. We already had 2, and 2 ones plus 10 ones would be 12 ones. Now, 12 ones subtracting 7 ones. We can take off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see we have 5 ones remaining. Next, we look at our tens column. 2 tens subtracting 1 10 would leave us with 1 10. The difference is 15. We always check our subtraction with addition. So we use the difference, 15, add it to the subtrahend, 17, and we should have the minuend. 5 plus 7 is 12. Regroup the 1. 1 plus 1 plus 1 would be 3 tens. So 32 is what we started with in the minuend position. The answer is correct. Let's try another example. This time we see we have 4 tens and 4 ones. So we have 44. Let's subtract 28 from 44. Again, you start in the ones column. 4 ones subtracting 8 ones. It's impossible. You can't do it. So we need to exchange one of our tens for 10 ones. And again, we will exchange 1 10 for 10 ones. So let's catch up with our algorithm. We've exchanged one of the tens for 10 ones. We already have 4 ones, so 10 plus 4 would be now 14 ones. 14 ones subtracting 8 ones. We can subtract off 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 6 ones remaining. Now we turn our attention to the tens. We have 3 tens, and we are subtracting 2 tens. So subtracting 2 of the tens, 3 tens minus 2 tens would leave us with 1 10. The difference of 44 subtracting 28 would be 16. Again, we check subtraction with addition. So taking the difference of 16, adding the subtrahend, which is 28, we should again find the minuend. 6 plus 4, starting in the ones column, 6 plus 8 would be 14. We regroup the 110. 110 plus 110 is 2 tens. 2 tens plus 2 tens is 4 tens. You can see that the difference is the same as the minuend we started with. Let's try one final example for today's lesson. This time you can see that we have 5 tens and 7 ones. Let's subtract 28. We keep all of our columns straight. So you can see the ones column is very clear and the tens column is very clear. Starting in the ones column, 7 cannot subtract 8. So we must regroup our number. We again exchange one of the tens for 10 ones. So one of the tens was exchanged for 10 ones. So 7 ones adding 10 ones is now 17 ones. And you can see that very clearly in the example. It's still a total of 57, but we have exchanged and now we've regrouped that number. Now we can subtract 8 ones from our 17. So we'll subtract 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see we're left with 9 ones. Next we look at our tens column. 4 tens is subtracting 2 tens. We remove 2 of the tens and we have 2 tens remaining. So 57 minus 28 equals 29. The difference of 57 subtracting 28 is 29. Again, we always check subtraction with addition. So taking the difference, 29, adding the subtrahend, which is 28, we're hoping to find the minuend of 57, which is what we started with. So 9 plus 8 is 17. We write our 7 in the ones column and regroup 110. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 tens plus 2 tens is 4 tens, plus the 1 additional 10 would be 5 tens. And once again, you can see our answer is correct. 57 is the minuend that we started with. That should conclude today's lesson. Well done, good job. Now it's time for you to work on pamphlet 9-4.